Happening now, Jamestown playgrounds are finally back open following the COVID-19 shutdown. Plus, why residents will need to make appointments to visit our local DMVs.
And a couple spots today could be dodging a spotty shower inland away from the lake. Otherwise, just clouds and sun, and that's going to continue through the weekend. I've got the full forecast next. The news at noon starts now.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
And thanks for joining us for WNY News Now on this Wednesday. I'm Justin Gould. Our top story, the Chautauqua County DMV has launched an online system for booking appointments. County Clerk Larry Barmore says that appointment blocks are set at 15-minute and 30-minute intervals depending on the transaction type. Locations are currently closed as staff works to catch up on backlogged work. The 3 county locations are expected, though, to reopen next Monday. At that time, residents should arrive prior to their appointment and wear their mask. The clerk says that those drop boxes that are placed around the DMV should still be used for remote work. DMV offices will be open from 8:30 a.m. through 4:30 p.m. until further notice. Locations are currently closed as staff works to catch up on that work. The 3 county locations will soon be operational, though, and additionally at this time, only Chautauqua County residents will be processed at Chautauqua County DMVs. We have a link to the registration page at WNYNewsNow.com. A convicted sex offender was charged after allegedly not reporting a new social media account to authorities. The Chautauqua County Sheriff's Office says that 60-year-old Michael Patika of Forestville was charged with failure to register under the state's correction law. Deputies received a report that Patika was allegedly using a Facebook account to communicate with the caller. As a level 3 registered sex offender, he is required by law to report all social media accounts to police. Now, according to the New York State Sex Offender Registry, Patika was convicted in 1996 of indecent liberties with a 10-year-old girl. Patika was issued an appearance ticket and is scheduled to appear in the town of Chautauqua court at a later date. Well, just when we thought COVID-19 was getting under control here locally, a newly identified swine flu virus has health officials sounding the alarm on a new potential pandemic threat. Thankfully, though, experts are insisting that it does not pose an immediate threat. Our Nadia Romero explains more.
Next pandemic might be upon us.
A new strand of swine flu that can spread from pigs to humans has been discovered in China and is now triggering new pandemic fears.
If we have at the same time new waves of the coronavirus, the potential for a bad flu season or swine flu, it is a catastrophic future we could face.
Researchers are calling it the G4 virus and says it's genetically descended from the H1N1 swine flu that caused the 2009 pandemic. And it's been spreading on pig farms in China since 2016 and has infected a few people, but hasn't yet been documented to have made anyone sick.
It's something that still is in the stage of examination.
While there is yet no report of human-to-human contact, there is reason for concern.
Health officials say despite their concerns, the new swine flu is not a global threat right now.
It's something we need to keep our eye out on, just the way we did in 2009 with the emergence of the swine flu.
I'm Nadia Romero reporting.
Nadia, thank you. As of yet, the potential human-to-human contact has not been confirmed. The World Health Organization has confirmed, though, that they are closely monitoring this new data as it emerges and refers to the discovery as proof that we all must remain vigilant even amid the COVID-19 pandemic. Well, the oldest living member of the Seneca Nation will be honored with induction into the New York State Veterans Hall of Fame. A sergeant in the Army Air Force in World War II, 97-year-old Ralph Elliott Bowen was an aerial gunner in the European campaign. In addition to several medals, Bowen received the French Legion of Honor, France's highest military honor. He is the first Seneca and the only second Native American to be appointed to the Knight in the Order of the Legion of Honor. He was nominated for the Hall of Fame spot by Senator George Borrello. And certainly we thank him for his service, and it's incredible that all those years later, now he is getting recognition to be part of that State Senate Hall of Fame. And we thank you for joining us here on WNY News Now as we make our way towards a holiday weekend. Gotta say hello to Rod. Hopefully you're doing well. Happy hump day to you. Thanks so much for joining us. Good to see Joseph. Joanna, happy July 1st. Yes, summer is here. Gotta love it. Hello to Joseph. Hello to Pam as well. Hopefully everybody is having a good day. Let's switch gears now and get a first check of our weather forecast, where we find Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter. Happy July 1st, Mr. Hunter.
Happy July 1st, everybody. You know what this means. We're officially in the dog days of summer. July is the hottest month of the year, so get ready for that. We've got some sizzling heat coming our way. Here's a live look over Findlay Lake, over Chautauqua Lake. Just a few cumulus clouds over the lake right now. Otherwise, this is going to be the story throughout much of the day, but there will be a small chance of an inland shower. Humidity still up there in the humid range. So again, dew point temperatures between 60 and 65 today. So you're going to be feeling the stickiness on your skin as you walk outside today. 77 was the high yesterday. 60 is of course the low this morning. 96 and 38 are the record high and lows set at this day at the Jamestown airport. So through the afternoon, partly to mostly sunny. A spotty inland shower definitely possible inland away from Lake Erie, but it's a small chance, about 20 to 25% chance. Most areas dry and muggy. The inland area should spike to 84 and the lakeshore area is 76. So if you do want to cool off, how about you head to the beach? 76 right at the immediate Lake Erie waterfront. And look at that lake water temperature up to 70 degrees. Grab the soap because you can take a bath in that. But yeah, we've got more heat and humidity is on the way, and we'll talk about it in a few. Justin?
All right, Dakota, I can hear those waves in your graphic. Is that a sound effect?
No, it is not, actually.
Oh, well, maybe it's just my imagination. Either way, beautiful shot, even though it's computer generated. Thank you. Coming up next, a lot more to tell you about. Some good news for kiddos looking for some summer fun. And later, we remember one of the world's most renowned comedians. Stay with us as WNY News Now continues.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer, plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
When you're on the go, stay in the know by downloading the WNY News Now mobile app. Stay up to date on local news, weather, and sports that matter to you. Plus, subscribe to breaking news and weather alerts from the team that puts coverage first. In addition, watch news as it happens with the Southern Tier's only 24/7 streaming network. Download the WNY News Now app right now. It's free on the Apple App Store and Google Play Store.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
Welcome back. Playground facilities in the city of Jamestown have reopened following a nearly 3-month shutdown. Officials say that the Parks Department staff will be sanitizing playground equipment daily to help stop the spread of COVID-19. However, officials say public restrooms at parks will remain closed. Park playgrounds were closed in March in an attempt to stop the spread of coronavirus. City Hall has also reopened, and now all offices are accepting permits, applications, and payments. City officials ask everyone coming into the building to wear a mask and practice social distancing. A bill to extend a tax credit for businesses to keep employees on payroll and receiving benefits has picked up a key endorsement from the Problem Solvers Caucus, led by Congressman Tom Reed. The caucus officially endorsed the Jobs Credit Act, a bill that would expand the employment retention tax credit to provide struggling businesses with funds to keep workers on payroll and receiving their benefits. The bill also aims to help employees keep their jobs during this pandemic. Now, according to Reed, if passed, the bill could help protect nearly 60 million jobs at 6.1 million businesses by expanding the program. The Jobs Credit Act improves employee retention by replacing a higher share of an employee's wages, increasing the amount of wages covered, and covering more businesses. Well, former Vice President Joe Biden slammed President Trump in a blistering speech yesterday. He hammered the president for his handling of coronavirus and called on him to do more to stop the spread. Our Alette Sanchez reports the presumptive Democratic nominee says that the president has failed to protect the American people.
And it seems like our wartime president has surrendered, waved the white flag, and left the battlefield.
Joe Biden issuing a harsh assessment of President Trump's response to the coronavirus pandemic.
Month after month, as other leaders in other countries took the necessary steps to get the virus under control, Donald Trump failed us.
In a blistering speech in Wilmington, Delaware, the presumptive Democratic presidential nominee blamed Trump, saying the country is hardly better off than it was in March.
How are we in this many months into this and still don't have what we need? You know, the steps you've taken so far haven't gotten the job done, Mr. President. Fix the shortage of PPE for our healthcare workers before you tee off another round of galls.
In contrast to Trump downplaying the need for testing,
we didn't test, we wouldn't have cases.
The former vice president called for an increase and contact tracing. And on masks,
we absolutely need a clear message from the very top of our federal government that everyone needs to wear a mask in public. It's if I have an undiagnosed, I have it, it's to protect you against me. It's to protect other people. And it's called patriotism.
Adding he will not hold any rallies as coronavirus cases spike in much of the country, despite the president defying his own medical experts, holding multiple events where attendees were not wearing masks or social distancing.
This is the most unusual campaign, I think, in modern history.
For the first time in months, Biden took questions from the press, addressing recent reports that, despite White House denials, Trump was briefed on an alleged Russian plot to pay bounties to the Taliban to kill American soldiers.
So the idea that somehow he didn't know or isn't being briefed, it is a dereliction of duty if that's the case.
As election season takes hold, a key pillar of Trump's campaign seems to be calling Biden's age and cognitive abilities into question.
Here's a guy who doesn't talk. Nobody hears him. Whenever he does talk, he can't put two sentences together.
Biden trying to turn the tables on Trump.
Have you been tested for some degree of cognitive decline?
I've been tested and I'm constantly tested. Look, all I got to do is watch me, and I can hardly wait to compare my cognitive capability to the cognitive capability of the man I'm running against.
Arlette, thank you. Biden's words come as the U.S. hovers near an all-time high in coronavirus cases. More than 44,000 new cases were reported Tuesday. Well, with rain totals running at less than normal rates, the State Department of Environmental Conservation is now issuing a statewide fire danger warning, urging people to use extra caution this dry season. While the western New York region is listed under a moderate risk for fires, DEC Commissioner Basil Segros says dry weather and warmer temperatures has elevated the potential for fires. He says the weather combination means outdoor fires can burn briskly and spread rapidly, especially on windy days. Burning debris and campfires are the biggest threat to spreading wildly. Fireworks can also pose a potential hazard. Well, we thank you so much for joining us here on WNY News Now as we make our way through another week. And I'm sure a lot of us are probably looking forward to some fireworks this weekend. I know some good news that was reported last week that the fireworks display in Lakewood is a go. In Mayville is a go. The Lakewood display is not going to take place this year, but the Mayville fireworks are a go, and a lot of people may be getting out, enjoying a couple of bonfires if they can. But of course, as the DEC mentions, please do it as responsibly as you can. Let's now get a check of our weather forecast with Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter. And there's the rainfall totals right behind you, Dakota. As we mentioned, it is dry out there right now.
Yeah, it is. And this was the rainfall total for the entire month. We got no rain yesterday. So our rainfall total for July stands at 1.36 inches. That is still over a 2-inch deficit for where we should have been for rainfall throughout the month of June. And we're starting July that exact same way. So this is the current update to the NOAA Drought Monitor. This is updated every Thursday. But right now we're not in a drought situation, but there is a dry condition out toward the Finger Lakes, and there's actually a drought condition out here up in New England. I would not be a bit surprised if this week or next week, if we don't get any substantial rain, which we don't see in the forecast for at least a while, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if this yellow shade gets expanded over into western New York and we're officially in a drought condition. But we're not as of right now, but we'll see what they do with that when they update that this Thursday and especially next Thursday. So here we go. The heat is just cranking back up here. So 79 today, 84 tomorrow. Look at Friday, 86. And by the time we get into the second half of the weekend and into early next week, we're going to be flirting with 90s in some spots, and it's close to heat wave territory. So let's talk about a heat wave here kind of briefly here. The scientific definition is abnormally hot weather, typically 90 degrees plus is what you need, kind of as the criteria for it. For 2 or more consecutive days, I like 3, so I take 3 over 2 any day, but it's technically 2 or more consecutive days, and the impacts can be heat exhaustion, heat stroke, and obviously poor air quality during hot and humid and dry days. So we're going to be keeping our eyes on this the second half of the weekend and into early next week. More clouds abound on the downtown camera on top of the Doubletree. 71 right now. Northeast wind of 8, but the dew point's up in the 60s. There it is for you. So again, when the dew point's up there, you're going to start noticing the humidity in the air. Today actually wouldn't be a bad idea to get out on the golf course. Partial sunshine, highs around 80 with a north to northeast wind averaging 5 to 10 miles per hour. But we all know separate carts, masks when you're in the clubhouse. We all know that by now. We've been doing this long enough. Stationary boundary set up down to our south with the high pressure ridge right here. This is still blocking, but we still have more clouds coming in as this storm system off the Atlantic coast continues to churn. So we're in the flow around the low. So more cloud cover today. Notice feature scan popping up a few inland showers, not out of the question, but the radar's not going to look like this. I think the chance is about 20 to 25% of anybody getting wet. Almost everybody will be dry and partly to mostly sunny, but don't be surprised if you catch an inland shower. Clear again tonight, and then another dry day coming up tomorrow, and then that's when we crank up the heat. So inland areas today, you're likely going to be around 79, 80 degrees in some spots once you work down in Warren County, which often is one of the warmer inland spots, maybe mid 80s there with clouds and sunshine through the day. Next 7 days of your life on the home planet we call Earth. 84 tomorrow, 86 on Friday. We stay dry all the way through the holiday weekend, and by the time we get into next week, we do have a small chance of a spotty shower or thunderstorm in there on Monday, but it's a very spotty chance, and temperatures very close to heat wave territory, close to 90. We'll take a break and be right back.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
Want weather now? Download the WNY News Now mobile app and stay up to date on severe weather alerts. Plus, anytime hazardous weather strikes, stick with the Southern Tier's only 24/7 streaming network that keeps you safe. You're all in a tornado warning, so now is the time to go to a safe place, small room, lowest floor, near the center, away from windows. What are you waiting for? Download the WNY News Now mobile app today. It's free in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store.
There's an old saying, there's no news in the newsroom. Well, it's true. The time I spend at the anchor desk is just part of my day. Most of our time is spent gathering stories in the community, stories that matter to you. We can't do it alone, and we need your help. When you see breaking news or have a news tip we should know about, drop us a line on Facebook today, email our news desk, or call our newsroom at 488-7226 so we can bring those stories straight back to you.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
And finally here, Carl Reiner was a comedic genius who could do it all. A legend of both front and center and behind the scenes. He passed away on Monday at the age of 98, but as Stephanie Elm reports, with a career that spanned more than 6 decades, he leaves behind a legacy of laughter spanning generations.
Funny enough, Carl Reiner didn't always have his sights set on comedy. However, there was a small problem.
I was missing 2 things to be an opera singer: pitch and timing.
Reiner was born in 1922 to Jewish immigrants, a watchmaker and homemaker in New York.
I went to the movies in the Bronx when I was a kid. I saw Ronald Koeman. I said, oh, it's so good. I'll never be there, but I want to be an actor. I could talk like him.
Growing up in the Great Depression, Reiner sought free acting classes offered by FDR's Works Progress Administration. After serving in World War II, he headed to Broadway, where he caught the attention of someone working in a new medium, television.
I'm forgetting one very important thing: lunch.
Show of Shows was my college with Sid Caesar and Imogene Coca, best writers in the history of this business. I really learned to write and learned about what constitutes good comedy.
After a decade of working with Sid Caesar, Reiner needed a new creative outlet. As he told Conan O'Brien, he didn't have to go far.
I was being offered situation comedies. I read a few of these, and they weren't very good. And my wife, in her infinite wisdom, said, why don't you write one?
Reiner created and starred in Head of the Family. It flopped at CBS, but Reiner's agent had an idea.
We'll get a better actor to play you.
Although the show got a new cast and a new title,
The Dick Van Dyke Show,
Reiner stayed to run the series, regularly appearing on it as well.
Whatever you were going to say to Laura, I would rather you said to me.
Okay, Rob, if that's the way you want it. Rob, you're a beautiful girl.
The 5 years I spent with Carl Reiner and Mary Tyler Moore on The Van Dyke Show were the 5 best years of my life. The most fun I ever had, the most creative, and I think I learned the most working with Carl Reiner that I ever did.
Learned what? Timing?
About comedy, about human behavior, about everything. Carl could have been a psychiatrist. He understands people so well.
The world is full of normal neurotics, and we like to see ourselves, and I think we saw ourselves in Dick.
While on set, Reiner developed a passion for directing. His movies Oh God with George Burns and The Jerk starring Steve Martin became instant comedy classics.
When Optograb came out, I thought it was the greatest thing ever, and I bought a pair. And this is the result.
In his later years, Reiner wrote several books, but he never strayed far from his acting roots. Whether it was on TV sitcoms like Mad About You.
We haven't met anywhere before.
Oh, I'm sure I'd remember.
Oh, yes, you would.
Or on film in the Ocean's 11 franchise.
You're all aces in my book, but I want the last check I write to bounce.
In his personal life, Reiner was married more than 60 years to jazz singer Estelle Reiner, who appeared in their son Rob's film When Harry Met Sally.
I'll have what she's having.
The Reiners had 3 children. Their eldest, Rob, became a successful actor turned director, just like his dad.
He is my idol and the person who has given me not only life, but a direction in life.
Do you pinch yourself a lot?
All the
Look at
time. All the time. How did this happen? It's still a dream. It's still a dream.
The National Comedy Center here in Jamestown will be constructing a special exhibit honoring his life and legacy. And certainly so many years later, a lot of us still getting laughs from that. Dakota, watching that package and hearing the comedy, I think, when you look back at some of these who are really, really just great comedians, people like us who are so much younger, who never really watched it live, so to speak, able to rewatch those. And you know, I'm dying over here watching it.
Right.
It's so funny.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, I tell people all the time, part of the reason why I know about a lot of the older shows, like Mama's Family, Carol Burnett, and stuff like that, is because when I was growing up, we had only one cable box in the house, and it was in the living room. So it was either I watched what, you know, everybody else was watching, or I go in my room and play with myself. So, I mean, play, not...
No, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. But it's just so amazing. It really is. And it'll be interesting to see right here in Jamestown what a national response would be to having that exhibit. And certainly, you know, as we continue with reopening, places like the Comedy Center will definitely accommodate that.
And I have a piece of trivia for you, Jay, very quickly.
Yeah,
go ahead. Do you know what show Rob Reiner actually starred in? That was his big main role when he was younger. And don't go to Google for this.
Okay, well, I guess if I had to say anything, well, because he wasn't in the Dick Van Dyke Show, correct? He was just the producer of that. Okay.
I'm talking about his son, Rob.
Oh, his son, Rob. Oh,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
Rob Reiner.
Oh, I'm not sure.
He played Mike Meatball on All in the Family.
Oh.
He was Archie Bunker's son-in-law because he married his daughter, and they moved in together. So
wow. Well, hey, that's
what was funny was, you know, Archie Bunker was a typical 1970s conservative, and Mike was a 1970s liberal. So you can imagine a lot of the arguments that went on during the show.
Oh yeah.
So
and what's so funny is the parallels of comedy. I mean, I think today we all laugh at politics. So it's the same thing back then.
It is. Nothing ever changes. Do you get a hint? Washington? Anyway, 4th of July forecast here. I'm just moving on because you're getting in trouble with that. 86 on Friday, 86 on the 4th itself, and Sunday, hot, hot, hot. Upper 80s, close to 90. Just stay by the air conditioning if you can over the weekend. Justin?
Thank you very much, Mr. Hunter. That's going to do it for us today. Of course, news continues 24/7 at WNYNewsNow.com. We leave you with a live look over Chautauqua Lake. We're back tomorrow. Hope to see you then.